October 23rd, 1739, the War of Jenkins' Ear begins when English Prime Minister Walpole reluctantly declares war on Spain. Later, Jenkins attempts to start the War of Jenkins' Dick, but the Queen famously retorts, "Honey, ain't nobody going to war over that."
Welcome to the Revisionists. Blah. I'm Boo Ryan Flynn. Boo Ryan Flynn Sidious. There we go.
Right.
Directed by James Wan.
Yeah, I'm Texas Chain Powers Massacre, directed by Toby Zach or something.
That's not how your name goes.
You just gave me Boo Ryan Insidious James Wan.
That's true.
And now you're complaining?
That's true. I can't look. Glass houses. And joining us is Stabby Booty. I can't go to that well twice.
She might have her own. You can't. Don't call.
Yeah, I don't know. Gabby, do you have anything better than
Nabby? No.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Dobby the house elf, the spookiest thing of all.
Yeah, spookiest thing of all is fucking transphobia.
Yeah.
Oh god.
A weird portrayal of slavery that's like,
yeah.
Is this problematic?
Yeah.
Listen, fuck J.K. Rowling.
I'm gonna go with Nabby. I'm kidnapping.
Oh, Nabby. Oh,
okay. All right.
Okay.
Oh, you thought I said dog.
Listen, the Zoom connection leads us down some weird trails. Wait, so I'm trying to picture you like kidnapping someone and just being like, I'm kidnapping you. Look.
Nabby, Stabby, Bootier, Reed, even that's like Bleed. You got options.
Bleed.
Screed. That's not Creed. Yeah,
it's really scary.
Well, listeners, if you couldn't tell, it's Halloween, and we're in part 2 of our 3-part Halloween spooktacular, where we abandoned the usual scary history we talk about, which is scary for reasons of our own humanity's own sort of bottomless pit of greed, and sometimes there's like animal attacks.
Yeah.
Sometimes animals are the real monsters.
They're gonna take your baby. You're starting to think about it.
They're gonna totally just Jungle Book them.
To understand, Roots is terrifying for a certain reason, but it's not scary in the same way that like Scream is what we're getting at, more or less.
Very much so.
So that is the difference, very much in plain sight.
Yeah. No, this time we talk about like goblins and stuff.
Goblins and Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard. How in the world is, of the two, like, spoiler alert, killers in the original Scream, how is the dude who looks most like he's named Skeet named Matthew?
I don't know. I think Skeet looks like he's named Skeet.
Really?
I do, yeah.
Matthew Lillard always looked like a Skeet to me.
Well, I don't know what a Skeet looks like except Skeet Ulrich, the only Skeet I've ever seen.
Well, listeners, typically what we do on the show, and what we're going to do tonight also, we're not breaking format, is we take a topic from history. One person presents the official government-sanctioned, candy inspected trick-or-treat street version of events, and another person presents,
sticks a little razor blade inside there.
Yeah, the other person presents the poisoned another person presents the fucking
the thing that conservatives are scared of, where you give out edibles that are super expensive.
Oh no, please don't give out your weed for free.
Don't spend $2,000 on a prank.
Bleh, children of the night. And the other person presents the alternate version of history. And the winner gets to become the truth going forward of this Halloween themed version of the Earth. Previously, we discussed the Sabo Man-Eaters, the Ghost and the Darkness. Thank you to Jen Kolick for that. We are still waiting on results for that, so we will announce that on our third Halloween episode, which is going to be coming a week from this one. That's right. This is another off-week episode because...
Assuming everything goes to plan.
Assuming everything goes to plan.
It has not. So we'll hope that it does in this case.
Mercury is in hella retrograde. I don't know if that's actually true.
I think it's over.
Oh, well, then then
scheduling
is just hard.
Sorry.
The dark times are done. We've made it through to the other side, people.
It's all just your fault.
Yep, it's all on. Look, here's the thing, everyone. Basically, all our guests are like us and in their 20s and 30s and 40s sometimes and have shit to do. And so sometimes it's hard to coordinate 3 schedules. So
I don't know. I think we've had at least one guest in their 50s. You have to have a teen. We got to get some teen perspectives on here.
I hosted.
Get
I hosted an open mic last night, and there's a 13-year-old comic. His name is Noah Ciel. If you want to have him on, get that cool. I don't know. Is that a Zoomer or is there another generation?
13 is still Gen Z. Yeah. I think that. I think it's young Gen Z at this point.
Yeah. The generation after Zoomers is officially Generation Alpha. I know that because Kathleen is in it.
Alpha.
Yep. So they're just going right back to the top.
Get way more Stacy's than Generation Beta or Generation Sigma.
Some lady told me there's the name Josie is coming back. That's my mom's name.
Oh,
okay. That's a name I'm fine with coming back. There are numerous kids. Apparently, my sister is an elementary school teacher, and there are numerous kids with the first name Flynn, which I have to think is from Breaking Bad. And
I mean, that's conceivable, I guess.
Like, I don't know where else that would come into prominence as a first name.
Rapunzel.
Yep, of course.
Rapunzel.
Of course, everyone has
Tangled, I guess I should say.
Tangled. Oh yeah, I forgot that was that character's name too. Okay.
Yeah, that character's name was Flynn Rider. I don't know why I know that, but I do.
Olaf is coming in.
Olaf's coming in.
Yeah.
Of course, Lumiere and Cogsworth.
Yep, and just the first name, let it go.
And of course, live action Lion King. But
now that Spectre brought him back, the first name Blofeld is going to be a big.
Oh, I feel bad for any child named Blofeld going through middle school. But anyway, this week we're discussing The Bell Witch. Gabby, you're going to be doing the true story.
Less scary than The Bell Curve, but yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. Zach, you're doing the alternate.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. Gabby, whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Sorry, I had this passing thought, if you guys just started adding sound effects into the podcast and you just did a big boo.
I don't know if we've done this in previous years, but attentive listeners might have noticed that last week I did indeed add some rattling chains and moans to the opening theme. And I assume I'll do the same this week.
I
scary moans, not sexy moans.
Yeah.
I wanted the sexy moans.
Give me them sexy bones.
It's a fine line between Ghost House and BDSM dungeon. Regular dungeon and sex dungeon. Very thin line.
Turns out the line is people need to have sex in it.
Yeah, it's the tone of the moan, and that's the difference.
That's what I always say. It's all in the tone of the moan.
The tone of the moan, baby.
Tone of the moan to you.
Okay. No more laughing.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's actually, I got most of my information. Most of my information from bellwitch.org.
Okay. .org.
Yeah.
So it's a nonprofit. The Bell Witch is set up a 501c3.
See, I went to bellwitch.gov. So that's you might get some slightly.
Yeah, that's what universities use when they teach this in their curriculum. You can hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I believe you can Venmo. Bell Witch. At they got at Bell Witch, BELLWITCH.
It would be terrible if the official Bell Witch Foundation had to get like Bell Witch _69.
Yeah, actually, the Bell Witch has a Kickstarter right now. She's trying to haunt Steve Bannon, but she needs a little startup money. So if you
I
can
will throw at least 200 that way.
Yeah. She's gonna be a whistleblower, so yeah, it's just for the like information getting. I don't know. I tried to look for the name of this person on the website. I don't know if it's on here, whoever runs it, but like they just were like, yeah, if you liked the information and you want to give me money, like this takes time and sometimes it costs money for resources to investigate.
I mean, I don't mean to laugh because I know it does take money for that. It's
somewhere between a hobby and a job. It's neither. It's too serious to be a hobby, but it's not enough to be a job.
Classic jobby.
As someone
Jobby had a Dobby.
Yep.
Dobby had a Jobby? What
Dobby had a jobby.
Oh god. We'll get into it. Okay, so like the years that this like I kind of took place was 1817 to 1821. And it's in Robertson County, Tennessee. And I can't remember who Dr. Nandor Fodor was, but I loved that his name was Nandor because of what we do in the shadows. But he called it America's greatest ghost story. So in the early 1800s, John Bell, who this all happened to, moved from North Carolina to the Red River Bottomland in Tennessee with his family. And now it's Adams, Tennessee, and I think I read in another article that it's like a population of 650. I don't know how much that's changed.
649 as of tonight. Ooh.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry, Dolores Gray. Our condolences.
If you want to send your condolences to a loved one, send $50 to the revisionist Venmo.
Oh, what are they gonna say, Bell Witch?
Oh yeah.
I wrote that this move was the biggest mistake of his life.
Very behind the music. I like it.
Yeah. And so I guess like the first weird thing that happened was in 1817, a mysterious animal body that was a dog and the head of a rabbit. It just appeared on the property, and apparently Bell shot it several times and it just vanished.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it could have been.
I mean, dog rabbit is one of the like scarier combinations you could get, I think. If it was rabbit body dog head, that's a little worse.
Rabbit body dog head.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think there's that combo just hopping around out there.
Just hopping around. Yeah, we got a lot of those in our neighborhood.
People keep feeding them. It's a real problem.
Yeah, it sucks.
Or just like goose head, goose body.
Yeah, I'm posting about
That's
it.
a goose. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. They're terrifying.
Okay, and then that evening, the family began hearing beating sounds on the outside walls of their log home. And it just kept escalating. The children said that they heard rats gnawing at their bedposts, and their covers were pulled and pillows were tossed onto the floor by an invisible entity. And then on the website, this was not mentioned any other time. There's a picture of a man morphing into a mule, and it said the same entity allegedly turned a man into a mule.
Like how? How do they know?
So they
Like how do they know
actually
it's the same fucking dude?
have to share a web domain with like Midsummer Night's Dream Fan 101.
Yeah, it's very rude mechanicals.
Yeah, there's a lot of animal stuff happening. And then it just keeps escalating as hauntings do. The entity. I would love to see a haunting where it just got better. Okay.
Yeah.
I really used all my best stuff up front. I don't have anything to close with.
Yeah, James Wan, he's done 40 of these movies out of ideas.
Guess I'll pull your chair out from under you. I'm a ghost.
I'm a ghost.
My ghost is very similar to my Tom Waits.
Okay. So the ghost started to have a voice, which apparently sounded like a feeble old woman singing hymns. And then that entity started fucking with Betsy Bell. John.
Sorry, it's just the way you said fucking made it sound like you were going to say it started fucking Betsy Bell. Started fucking.
There's some stuff like that. There are theories.
Bring
up later.
Welp.
It's really confusing. A lot of the stuff pretty much is like we can't prove any of it. So this ghost was messing with Betsy Bell. Would pull her hair, slap her. There'd be welts on her, handprints on her face and body. And Belle tried to keep all of this a secret because he was ashamed, and nobody wants to be a weak man. But it all boiled over, and he told his friend and neighbor, James Johnston. And then his neighbor didn't really believe him at first, but then he stayed the night, and some shit went down.
Yep.
And then he said, quote, apparently, since nothing can be proved, the culprit was likely an evil spirit, the kind that the Bible talks about.
Oh, that kind. Okay.
Yeah. Not one of those Buddhist evil spirits or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Not those.
Yeah, not the one from an Anne Rice novel.
Oh.
Not that one. No.
Well, one of the Bible ones, the one that's like in a Jesus stuffed into a bunch of pigs or whatever.
Yeah,
one of those. And the voice apparently got louder over time. It sang hymns, quoted scripture, carried on intelligent conversation.
I assume it talked about Rick and Morty. Through an understood Rick and Morty.
Yeah. You're using a Ouija board. It just says Pickle Rick a bunch.
Yeah.
It's fucking annoying as shit.
Yeah. So what's the deal?
Szechuan sauce.
Ugh.
What's going on with the measles, huh? I don't know.
Mhm.
It quoted two sermons that were preached at the same time on the same day, 13 miles apart. Okay, so all of this apparently got to General Andrew Jackson, and he became interested in the Bell Witch.
Yeah, I guess a couple of the Bell's sons served under him at the Battle of New Orleans
Yeah.
in the War of 1812.
Yeah.
So he heard about this whole goings on.
Yeah, exactly. So he made his way down there in 1819, and when they got there, the wagon stopped. Okay, talking, you know.
Yeah. Beep beep. Yeah.
Yeah. Beep beep.
Fucking wagon in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah,
Yep.
things like that.
I think the spirit was like eventually let them go pass, and I was like, I'll see you later, alligator.
It's like, this is kind of a fun, carefree spirit.
Yeah.
Just messing around, having some fun. And okay, this part was fun. So that night, one of Jackson's men, who I guess this website said might be John Gordon, someone who was like really close to him, claimed to be a witch tamer and said that he had a silver bullet he had that would kill any evil spirit, and then that evil spirit was gonna be scared of that bullet. And proceeded to get his ass handed to him by the Bell Witch.
Yeah. Bell Witch allegedly beat the shit out of beat this guy up and grabbed his nose, and the guy ran away scared.
Yeah.
I love that. I really wish he was just like, I have a bullet that can kill any ghost, and he just shoots it into like a vase or something.
One account, one of the things about this is every account varies very much. One account was like Jackson was like, oh, this guy's a big talker. I wish the ghost would show up and show him what for. And then the ghost was like, yes, sir, Mr. General, or whatever. And then the guy tried to shoot at the direction the voice was coming from twice. And the ghost was like, now it's my turn, and beat him up. But the stories vary from in terms of the craziness, they vary dramatically depending on the teller.
Yeah, all the stories are different, so I don't fucking know. And then the evil spirit said, there is yet another fraud in your party, Jackson. And everyone wanted to leave except for Jackson, because he wanted to find out who the fraud was, apparently. And then I wrote that was the first time that he had ever listened to a woman.
Yeah. His party consisted of Edgar Smith, Jeffrey Kane, and Buster 174471235. And they had to figure out
who the
fraud was.
Yeah.
Who was it? Yeah. Oh, his quote is after his visit, I would rather fight the British at New Orleans than fight the Bell Witch.
Great. But they put that on like a t-shirt or whatever the equivalent was at the time.
Yeah.
Just a really blousy shirt.
Yeah, just have that quote on there. And you can get that shirt at bellwitch.org. Just Venmo at bellwitch.
That's how they take payment.
It's become a virtual witch now.
Virtual Witch has got to be not quite an Asylum movie, but definitely a direct to streaming release at some point.
Yeah, just on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not even Amazon. It's definitely on Tubi.
Tubi. Oh, yeah. None of this can be proved.
In case you were wondering, listeners.
Because I was reading more, and then this website has like so many different sections. That one of the sections, it was like, also nobody knows if this happened. Apparently, Jackson wasn't even like in the same place at this time; like he was somewhere else. But they'd love to get their hands on some journals. So that's I don't know.
If anyone has any proof, just send it to me.
Send it. Yeah. So the Bell Witch was constantly out to get John Bell. Why?
Yeah. Wanted to kill John Bell.
Yeah. Kill, yes. And did eventually, apparently. On December 20th, 1820, after slipping into a coma a day. And this was like after he had been suffering from like face twitches and seizures and like a whole bunch of
He
stuff.
couldn't eat. He said he would have these episodes where it felt like there was a stick stuck lengthwise in his mouth.
Yeah.
And like he couldn't swallow or eat.
Yeah. And after his death, his family found a vial of strange black liquid in the cupboard. And John Jr. sprinkled 2 drops on the cat's tongue because the cat didn't matter. And the cat jumped up into the air and was like, fuck you. And it died. What's up?
You fucking poisoned me?
Yeah. I guess you never loved me.
Oh.
And then the entity exclaimed, I gave old Jack a big dose of that last night, which fixed him. And then John Jr. tossed the mysterious vial into the fireplace, and it burst into bright blue flames and shot up in the chimney. And Santa Claus was like, whoa!
That's how Santa Claus was killed, tragically.
No, that's how Santa Claus found out he likes pigging.
That's canonical.
Really one of the most underrated Christmas films is The Night Santa Claus Found Out He Liked Pegging. I think that it should be up there with Christmas Story and Home Alone and Wonderful Life.
Of course, yeah. And It's a Wonderful Life too, when you're getting pegged. A pegging on 34th Street. I couldn't. Having a hard time with these.
Nightmare Before. I don't know.
Peg Hard is seemingly an easy one.
The Christmas shoes that you smell in the closet.
Okay.
Went with a different fetish.
Yeah, no.
I have no idea where I'm at.
John Sr. is poisoned, and I think he is about to die.
Yeah, he died. And fixed him. I was like, maybe, yeah. I don't know. This guy needed to die. But okay, so after he died, it kind of like stopped. Brian's dying. Yeah, it pretty much stopped, except there's this whole other like side story thing about Betsy and Joshua Gardner, the person that she was engaged to at one time. And so, like, apparently in their relationship, whenever they were together, they couldn't be together without the entity bothering them. And it was too much. So Betsy broke it off down by the river on Easter. And I said that this was one of the greatest excuses not to marry a man you don't love.
Apparently the spirit was like, the voice of the spirit would be like, your life with him will be miserable. Don't stick with him.
Yeah.
It was literally like that. Like she would be like, I don't know. He likes Easter by the river. Red flag emoji, red flag emoji, red flag emoji.
Red flag. Yeah, oops, sorry, the Bell Witch forbids it. Therefore, I shall not marry you.
Sorry, I can't give your sweater back. Bell
Yeah.
Witch. Sorry.
Yeah, the real problem was you don't like pegging. You're not- Why can't you be Santa Claus?
Gotta get with this. Sorry, I'm not going to do an improv of the relationship drama of the ghost driven breakup that's also sort of driven by sexual incompatibility.
I don't know. At that time, I feel like nobody wanted to get married. Yeah. I didn't write this down, but there was this whole weird side section about their teacher that they used to both have and how he was interested in Betsy. So that was fucking weird too.
She eventually married this teacher instead.
Oh,
did she? Oh, that's
um,
why it was brought up.
Yeah.
okay.
They were
'cause-
married. They were married for a while, and then he died, and then she was a widow for like 30 years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, which is what happens when a teacher marries a student.
Yeah.
Um,
Like 30 or 20 years your senior. I don't know. 40 years? I don't remember.
yeah, that's I'm glad it worked out where there was a reason for that to be brought up rather than just like someone being like, yeah, this teacher also was into her, which
Yeah.
is fucking weird on the face of it.
Yeah, no. He like apparently was married when he was teaching her, but he acted like a bachelor, a jovial bachelor.
Mm.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. And yeah, after that, the spirit said it was going to visit in 7 years. And then in 1828, it came to visit John Bell Jr. They talked about civilization, Christianity, and need for major spiritual awakening. It allegedly predicted the Civil War. And I just said, maybe these are just John Bell Jr.'s thoughts that he wanted to get out there.
Because it's also weird for them to come back and be like, so you killed my dad. And that just like not come up at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The Bell Witch just sounds like a great friend.
Comes in, kills your dad, keeps you from getting into a bad marriage. Yeah. Please, if there are any ghosts listening,
it's-
don't kill
it's
my
worth
dad.
noting that it was apparently super kind to John Bell's wife Lucy.
Yeah.
Like she got sick, and it would take care of her and act as like a nursemaid and allegedly bring her food while she was ill and even cure her. Like it really was fond of Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess now you can still go to the Bell the location, and there's like this creepy cave that's supposedly like
Yeah.
a portal between worlds that various spirits move in and out of.
Yeah.
And there's like old Native American burial grounds there.
Oh fuck, that's why this all happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I was like, who is the Bell Witch? And then they say that like it's Kat Bates, Katie or
Batts,
yeah,
Kate Batts, who was a neighbor.
And Kate Bates was related to them, and like her husband, she was Lucy Bell's niece, and her husband was Frederick, who was like the brother of a guy that might have had a bad business deal with John Bell, but none of that makes sense because she apparently outlived both of them, so I have no idea why people it's this lady.
Oh,
And also they owned slaves, so I was like, maybe that
Oh,
too. They
yeah.
just-
Yeah, there's a few stories about a couple of the slaves, particularly one named Dean being sort of scared by the Bell Witch, maybe like hit by her one time, or like it appeared as a dog and he split the dog's head, and then it appeared again as a dog with two heads.
Oh my
Stuff
God.
like that.
oh,
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, that's not what you want.
But you can go to a Halloween event at the cave this week.
Yep, I'm actually sort of curious to see what sort of COVID-19 protocols the creepy Bell Witch Cave has
This cave,
set
yeah.
up.
Don't catch the vid from the Bell Witch.
Gabby, thank you.
Yeah, there's like other. If you have any questions, I tried to answer some in my research. Okay, there's also there's this weird side note. Okay, can I share it?
Oh yeah, please.
Okay, so the weird thing, I just was off Google, and A&E apparently has a show called Cursed, the Bell Witch, and they just like interview Bob Bell and Katie Bell. Katie is like a descendant of Kate Batts. Sorry, Katie Batts. And then there's this whole show about it, and this like town historian Henson, who's like really into it, he's like, it's so doggone addictive. The direct quote. And there's apparently a clairvoyant named Sarah Leigh or Pugh. She goes by multiple names. Okay.
Mhm.
And she apparently says that she has contact with Betsy Bell, and she knows the reason why all this happened, but then a lot of people are like, that's a complete lie. So I don't. So maybe if listeners want to watch Cursed, the Bell Witch, and find it on some platform, maybe there's answers out there.
But yeah, Zach, whenever you're ready, feel free to dive into the alternate.
Yeah, so it's a decent account of the Bell Witch. Obviously, there's a lot to be answered in who or what it was, all these different things. So obviously, like, there's a lot of history in that area of Tennessee that dates back well before the Bell family. And also, the fact of the matter is the cave itself is an interdimensional portal, right? I mean, that's what they say. So
no one's ever lied about a cave.
Nope.
Illegal.
I decided that the Bell Witch was originally Sarah Bellum, who wrote for Teen Vogue, TeeneVoguee, and
Nice.
later she was that character from the Powerpuff Girls who was the assistant to the mayor, who is the redhead. That took place in pre-colonial America, actually, in the alternate universes. That's just how it works.
So it's the same. It's like Powerpuff Girls still aired in the same time frame.
Actually, sort of, but it was also an alternate dimension because she was also a spelunker, and that was her folly because she spelunked the cave, and that spelled her doom when she went into the interdimensional cave portal on the Red River property and became the Bell Witch. Some kind of MCU ass multiverse shit happened, and she fully died, but also she became the witch. And because she was a smart, aware person who wrote for Teen Vogue with extra ease, you know, she was progressive for her time and decided to haunt assholes. So one of the people she went after was obviously Andrew Jackson. Okay,
so haunting people who are assholes, not haunting people's
people
assholes.
who are bad people.
Okay.
So one of the people she went after was Andrew Jackson, who only went there once, so she couldn't do as much as she would have wanted, which was probably like fucking kill him because he sucked.
Yeah.
And another person she went after was John Bell. Now, we briefly mentioned that John Bell was a slave owner. One fun thing about John Bell we didn't mention was that his wife Lucy and he were married when he was 32 and Lucy was 12 years old. So that's a true fact about John Bell that has been corroborated in numerous sources. He also got excommunicated from the church for shady dealings revolving around selling slaves and stuff. So he did slavery so bad the church excommunicated him when slavery was okay. Yeah. She haunted this asshole and killed him because she should have done that.
Yeah,
That was a good thing to do. She was nice to Lucy because Lucy was a child bride, and it makes sense to be nice to someone who's in that particular situation.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what the Bell Witch started as. Yeah, obviously, by the 90s, these people named the Kirbys, who still own the place, were living at the Bell Farm. And, at this point, it's like these are normal people. Occasionally, a tourist who was an asshole came by and she could give him a scare, but that was about all she was up to by this point. And she was like, fuck it, I'm tired of this.
Mhm.
And she was like, I'm going to live a normal life. Now, one of the forms she took early on, at the same time she did the dog with the rabbit head, was she took the form of a really big bird. And they didn't know what the bird was.
Mhm.
But it turns out it was a swan. And she used that as her nickname. First, the Bell Witch, the name she was given, and the form of a swan to become Bella Swan and go to high school. And she just had a normal high school life where she fell in love with a vampire, of course. Her story was plagiarized by Stephanie Meyer, who made some changes. For instance, when a creepy asshole was like into her baby, she straight up killed that guy because that's the way the Bell Witch rolled when people were creepy pedophiles.
Yeah.
So after that, she decided, I'm going to pursue a normal career, live my life, make the best of it. I've been being a Bell Witch for too long.
You got to change careers at some point.
Yeah.
She landed the role of Veronica Mars, and then she went ahead and married down, and and now she has a successful acting career. And to keep it brief, that is the true story of the Bell Witch.
with a Dax Shepard slam thrown in there.
Married down. They have a show together now.
Wait, they do?
They do. Yeah, it's like a family-friendly game show.
Oh, okay. That's
I stand by what I said.
No.
So that's one of the good places. So
listen, this guy made the movie Chips. Like, really? Come on.
He didn't make the movie, right?
I believe he directed and wrote that thing.
Oh no. Okay. I take back my entire argument. Zach, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Listeners, before we move on to judgment, I just want to say, hey, if you want to give us a little gift in our Halloween stocking, you can write a review of this podcast on your podcast service of choice. I personally just moved on from Apple Podcasts finally because it's terrible. So hey, if you're on Overcast, which is a great app.
Yeah. In terms of written reviews on Apple, like we have so many. What do we got? Dobby got a jobby.
We got
what was our other
the tone of the moan?
The tone of the moan.
The tone of the moan, baby.
The tone of the moan.
Write any of those things and rate us 5 stars. All that matters is you write something, doesn't matter what.
Yep, and I'm sure there'll be a tone of the moan bumper sticker or coffee mug coming out just in time for Christmas. For you to not explain to your family.
Honestly, a shirt that says the difference between a dungeon and a sex dungeon is the tone of the moan. Not a bad shirt.
It's not a bad shirt for sure. It's a shirt that'll make people stop and go, what? What? I guess. Also, you can always write us a letter, ask us a question, leave us a comment at revisionistpodcast.com. Just click on the contact form, or just, hey, cut out the middleman and write directly to revisionistpodcast@gmail.com. Sure. And also, you can reach us on Instagram or Twitter. We're technically on Facebook, but I deactivated my Facebook a long ass time ago. And Zach, I don't know if you're still on that or not, but the chances of someone actually responding there, slim to none. Maybe.
I am
But-
still at Facebook, but I
Oh,
do
you
not
are?
check the revisionist page very often.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I probably
Uh,
should. Good reminder.
I mean, the thing is, Twitter or Instagram is where it's at. No TikTok yet, and nothing on WikiFeet. What? Okay.
Come on, get the Bell Witch's feet on there.
No. Please
Yep.
listen, people.
Well, if my alternate is true, I'm sure they're already on there.
Look, people. I hope I don't have to tell any of our listeners this. Don't put strangers' feet on WikiFeet. That's for your own feet. That's just a advice to all of our weird listeners, not to yuck on anyone's yum. Also, if you're still listening after all that, we have a Patreon, which it seems a shame to bring up now, where you can support the show for as little as $1 a month, which, if you have extra money and, you're already donating to a good cause this year, because there's a lot that are in need, we'd really appreciate it. It helps pay for like web hosting and stuff like that. So check that out, and you can even buy your right to vote that way, on the show, not in America. But
you can get a double ballot.
yeah, the secret double ballot. Something. I don't even want to get into that now, because I don't want people to reasonably misconstrue what I would say as a joke. Gabby, you are co-hosting a fairly new show on Hooked on Colfax for our Denver listeners, right?
Yeah, we're doing it before the pandemic, and we did about 4. Now this month is going to be our 3rd one back. It's at Hooked on Colfax, usually the 3rd Thursdays of the month at 8 p.m. And this month is Jordan Dahl, and next month we have Valerie Tosi.
Nice.
It's going to be super, super fun, and it's just a great hang.
Awesome. What's the show called?
Tell Me I'm Pretty.
Perfect. So yeah, definitely check that out. It's killer lineups all the way down. Zach, you co-host the Movie Trap, which we've discussed.
Yeah, we have discussed. It's a movie podcast. There's a kind of a game element where we compete to see who can pick the best movie in a given theme.
Cool.
But that's, the basic, and whoever wins gets to pick the next theme. Right now, we're finishing at our annual horror Halloween movie segment, which was, in this year, we randomly picked horror movies from before 1960. So if you want to hear about old ass horror movies, that's the place to go. Oh, and then actually next week, this should be announced by now, I won the bonus movie for Halloween, and I picked something Brian told me about that I had never heard about called His House. So if you want to listen to an episode about His House,
that is a movie I like a whole lot. That is scary in like 6 different ways.
so
So
about the immigration experience in England specifically. But
yeah. But that brings us to the judgment phase of the podcast. And this is a really fun one. Judgment listeners, in case you couldn't tell, over the course of 140-ish episodes, I usually, when I'm judging, just choose on the fly because it's usually very hard. And this is a fun situation because both stories are just kind of a blast. It's not one of our Halloween ones where it's actually about a serial killer. And the only person who it's confirmed to have died is an asshole. So that's nice. So I think I am going to...
Though, to be totally fair, all the members of the Bell family are dead. They lived in the early 1800s.
That is okay.
Long dead.
But there's descendants? I think not.
Yeah, true.
I mean, that might be a situation where if you went into detail about how each and every one of them died, like eventually, then I'd be like, okay, that's a little upsetting. But that didn't really factor into it for me. So I think that I am going to throw my vote. This. I'm going to throw my vote to the actual history, mainly because I kind of feel a little bad for Dax Shepard. Not gonna. I mean, he has. Why do I feel bad for Dax Shepard? Fuck that guy. I'm just doing 180s constantly.
He's got that podcast that moms listen to. He makes a ton of money off of.
Does
Wait,
he?
what's his fucking podcast?
Armchair Expert, I believe it's called.
Who is Dax Shepard? I don't know. Who it is. I know who it is. I'm saying, but like, who is he really? I'm learning a lot.
He's Kristen Bell's husband.
I know.
Fuck was he in? He was in Chips, obviously.
He
He's
was
an Idiocracy.
Idiocracy? Yeah.
I mean, his name is also Dax, so.
Dax.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
cool.
seems-
When you Google Dax Shepard wife is like the third
Zathura?
thing that
I
comes up.
remember Zathura. That was a guy.
Anyway, oh no, he was in Without a Paddle.
Oh,
Um,
great. There's a scene where they all have to huddle and they're like, oh, should we do it? We're all men. It's cold outside, though.
Wait, it was what?
It's a gay panic joke.
Oh no. Oh well, fuck
It's a
Dax Shepard.
movie. It's Without a Paddle. It's, yeah.
Oh man, I had a roommate in college who is a very nice person, who that was one of his favorite movies of all time. But again, very nice
And that
person.
roommate was Dax Shepard.
Yeah. Look at the screenplay.
We kept
Um,
watching it on replay.
But Gabby, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Zach, thank you as always.
Yep, of course.
For everyone here at the Revisionists, I've been old Banshee Brian, Flynn.
Mm-hmm. I've been fucking Dr. Monster Mash.
Perfect. I've seen your doctorate. Have a spooky Halloween.
Boo.
October 23rd, 4004 BCE. The universe is created according to the calculations of Archbishop James Ussher, based on the fact that creation is giving off real Scorpio vibes. October 23rd, 4004 BC. According to the calculations of Archbishop James Ussher, God creates the universe on this date at around 6 p.m., mainly because he didn't want to miss Jeopardy. October 23rd, 1739. The War of Jenkins' Ear begins in New Grenada and the Caribbean, and the War of Jenkins' Feet begins on Jenkins' OnlyFans.
October 23rd, 1812. A French general begins a conspiracy to overthrow Napoleon, claiming that the emperor has died in Russia, commonly called Quellanon. October 23rd, 1850. The first National Women's Rights Convention begins in Worcester, Massachusetts. Their first order of business? To determine if they indeed be shopping. October 23rd, 1973. Watergate scandal. President Nixon agrees to turn over the subpoenaed audio tapes of his Oval Office conversations, though most of it was recordings of his supernatural podcast, Super Nixonal.